Welcome back to City Radio. My name's Molly. I'm here with Erica Pullen. She's children's author of a new book called Believing in Myself. And welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I know you're not from Baltimore. You're from Pittsburgh.
Yes, I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Die-hard Steeler fan.
So we're glad you're here.
Hey, get out of here with that die. Hey, Molly, introduce.
Oh yeah, and to my left, Cortez Elliott, AMN Global. Cortez, welcome.
How y'all doing? I'm glad to be a part of the panel. Pretty
and
good.
yours truly, Molly.
Oh yeah, and Tim Mercer, he's here. You're still here, Tim? Why are you here?
God bless you. God bless you.
Okay. All right. Erica, tell us about your book.
Yeah, so I wrote the book based on my own personal story as a child. A dark-skinned little girl who has some insecurities, who tried extremely hard to be successful in her talent, and in which she is a ballerina, but she, for some reason, was denied because of her dark skin, so she thought. And so at the end of the book, it's about believing in myself. It's about, regardless of who doesn't believe in you, despite your color, skin size, or shape, you have to believe in yourself. And so that's my message. I started out pretty much thinking that it was for babies of color, but because I travel the states and speak to public schools, youth programs, I just came back from a tour, that's why my voice is hoarse, I realize now that it has nothing to do with color. The message is universal. And so that is my message for all children, all babies. Even adults have called me, inboxed me, and say, you know what, Miss Pullen, thank you so much for this message. So
that's awesome. So you have been, what do you do when you travel and present to schools? What's that usually like?
Wow. So it's a full-time job. I may go to, well, I'm usually there during the morning. I usually finish up around 2:30 when school's letting out. I usually see between 4 and 5 classes. I get a break in between, and then usually they're in the auditorium, so they come to me. I have a big backdrop of Sierra, my character, and I always bring books because I don't request for them to pay for me to come. What I request, because I'm all about my babies, I call all the children my babies. What I recommend is for them to buy books for their children. So now, when a school reaches out to me, they already know that they have to purchase books for the kids.
So where are you going to be presenting the book next, or have you done it in the city? What kind of I really want to know what kind of response you receive from the babies.
Wow. So I can actually say I was just in Pittsburgh last week. My hometown has been amazing, but so has Maryland, so has Baltimore, you know, and so I love Baltimore. I absolutely love Baltimore. They have been really good to me. But there was one young guy that just really stuck out to me. He's going into the 6th grade. African American, very, very dark and big. He was bigger than me, taller than me, and really big. You can say obese.
Stocky, period.
Well, he was obese, more obese than anything. But once I explained that I was bullied as a child, I was made fun of because of my dark skin. So I grew up not believing in myself, and that's my story. I tell the children, my babies, my story and how I grew up and how I was bullied and how I did not believe in myself. I thought I was an ugly duckling. So once I tell my story, you can't imagine the babies that come up to me and say, Miss Pullen, thank you. I had a beautiful little Juliana with long, pretty blonde hair and blue eyes who came up to me and said, Miss Pullen, I just want to thank you because I'm bullied all the time and now I know that I can believe in myself. And I said, you're exactly right, baby. You believe in yourself. You keep your head up high and you tell them the next time they talk about you or bully you, you say, you know what, it doesn't matter what you say about me because I believe in myself. And that's my message.
How did you start believing in yourself?
Right, that's an excellent
I saw
question.
that you sort of promote like positive affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that helps, but
right.
Yeah, your story.
So I think I was around 14 years old. I was in the Miss Black Teen, Pittsburgh teen pageant that my mom put me in. And I think it was to build my confidence. I placed as a 15 finalist. I was the youngest to place. And then the following year, I was the first runner-up. But with that, I wrote a monologue called Believing in Myself. And it was, again, based on me. A little different, but kind of it aligned with my story, pretty much. And I think knowing that these beautiful, light-skinned women, did not place, and I did, made me think, well, Erica, wait a minute. Just because you're dark skinned does not mean, that you can't be successful or you cannot be selected for what you choose to be selected for, or whatever the case may be. So yeah. So that's when I really started believing in myself. I've had a roller coaster ride, because as I've gotten older, and I can recall just some years ago, and I'm married, praise God.
Praise God.
But I can recall some years ago, a guy saying to me, and I used to have the biggest crush on him when I was a teenager, that he still doesn't like dark-skinned women, that he thinks they're ugly. And I said, you know what, shame on you, but it doesn't matter no more, sweetie, So, and this was in Atlanta, by the way. So, people still have their own opinion of dark-skinned women as far as I'm concerned. But I believe in myself, so it doesn't matter. And that's my message to the children. So.
Ms. Pullen.
Yes.
What do you think, Erica?
Mm-hmm.
I like to call you Mrs. Pullen. That's better. Erica, what do you think, even in, and I'm from another era, but the deal is, I know a fine black sister when I see one. Towards that end, I'm trying to say, what do you think facilitated,
Her son's here, that's why
you being bullied, even as you were, by your peers? What do you think is the problem with us appreciating our own ethnicity? Do you think it's educational? If it's educational, then it's social. In other words, you aren't obese, you aren't ugly, you're beautiful, you was bullied. So that's ignorance, right? So the degree of bullying you went through, looking the way you look, acting the way you act, and studying the way you were studying, might be compounded 10 times with somebody obese, less smart, less enthusiastic. What do you think perpetuate us as black individuals to not know how to lift us up individually as a result of just being us? In other words, why do we always have to resort to ignorance when it comes to uplifting? It's social media.
It's the videos, it's BET, MTV, it's the media. Look at the reality shows. Everybody on there is absolutely
fighting,
beautiful.
And acting like crazy.
They have beautiful bodies,
beautiful money,
hair,
and miserable.
Nobody works, but they all travel and they drive Bugattis. That's not reality. So our young kids are growing up thinking that they have to look like this Barbie doll. They have to look like Cardi B. They have to look like Beyonce and Kim Kardashian. That's in the back of my book, by the way. And so they grow up thinking like, wow, I have to look a certain way in order to be considered beautiful. In my era, because I am 46 years old, at that time, it was light skin is in. If you weren't light skinned, then you weren't pretty.
But I gotta say something to you now,
yes,
because you're wrong.
Well,
I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong. Because I go back to James Brown. Say it loud! Okay? Don't forget me. I say that to say that you black and proud regardless of hue. Regardless of hue. But I want to say that what you said earlier in reference to, you got a book that people can actually open up, fan the pages and read. Mm-hmm. We don't read too much more.
Well, you know what? And I'm changing that. And that is one of the reasons why I travel the states. The next state I'm going to for a week is Georgia, Atlanta.
That is good.
And so actually we just planned that, so I'll be there the week of the 9th, September 9th, that whole entire week. And I'll actually be at a couple schools. 2 radio stations are interviewing me while I'm there. So yeah, I am not going to stop until I have shared my message with our future, and that's our babies. So,
and that's about reading. And the bottom line is you got to tell them, just like the preachers do on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Bring a Bible, get out your phone Bible. Right. Bring a real Bible so you can read it.
But it's the message, and from what I know, just in my experience since February, these kids absolutely love this book. And, you know, so, and it's an easy read, but it's the message behind it. So, and I also have a book coming out for little boys, hopefully by the end of summer.
How many pages?
Well,
you say easy read.
I'm looking through it now.
It's an easy read. And
I was talking about this.
16 to 20 pages.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I got you. So that's easy read.
Yeah, it's an easy read.
It's a beautiful book.
I noticed your NPA. I'm also an NPA as well.
Oh, okay.
And can you just allude to how the young women are receptive to the book? What are some of the messages, and how does it resonate with young women?
Right. So again, it's for young women. I started off when I, and we'll go back to the reality show. So what happened was at 3:30 in the morning, I just happened my TV, because I cannot go to sleep without the TV on. And so I woke up, and here it was Atlanta hip hop or something like that. And I'm just sitting there watching them and shaking my head, and I said, this is not reality. I am so mad that our babies, you know, are being fed this. So I got up, went into my living room and said, you know what? I think I'm going to make a difference in the lives of our babies. And so I started writing.
Start transcribing.
Right. So I thought at first that the book would be between the ages of 5 and 15. Because again, my goal is to get them young.
Yes.
To believe in themselves and realize how beautiful they are before somebody attacks them. You know, prepare them for the worst. But now I have adults who are inboxing me on Facebook and calling me on my business line saying, Miss Pullen, you know what, I just want to thank you because I can relate to this book. You know, regardless if the child is dark skinned or, you know, whatever, heavy set, short kinky hair, whatever. You know, we all have some type of insecurity about ourselves. But again, we have to believe in ourselves. So the effect has been amazing. And the last thing I say when I'm speaking, so that these babies know, usually it's kids, to brush their teeth before they go to bed, look in the mirror, put your head up high and say, I believe in myself. So you would be amazed. I had to speak yesterday at an event here in Baltimore. And there were maybe about 50 kids and they were so excited. Yeah. So yeah, so the effect is amazing. And I believe that they are actually believing in themselves now more, especially when they know that, oh, Miss Pullen went through the same thing I'm going through.
Miss Pullen, I want to say this to you because I concur with you 110%. And I want to say that the education of our children, when it comes to the perception of themselves, you know, certain things is indigenous to black people. You know, I say to people, and I said it on this show, that I have a broad nose, thick lips, and over curly hair, but that's the characteristics of a black individual. So if you don't know your own beauty, then how can you move forward knowing I'm handsome? I know I'm handsome, but the only reason I know I'm handsome is because I know my own beauty. You know what I'm saying? And this is what's happening with our children. We come up poking fun at each other because we don't know our own ethnicity.
Right.
And that goes back to education. And then when it goes back to education, and which you done wrote on and which you articulated on earlier, it starts from birth to 3 and from birth to 6. Pusik's theory on cognitive development and Ertson's theory on social and emotional development. And I'm telling you that when it comes to us not perceiving where our children, that's why I work with children every day, and when it comes to us not perceiving where we are from 3, 4, 5, that is the steps up to not being suspicious about your own ideology later on down the road. Later on down the road, and where you knew you was beautiful and could exceed and could excel before you had that confirmation. You just maybe was a little bit suspicious about it because of your education about how beautiful you were.
But you know what? That's not true. Like I said, when I grew up, my own peers talked about.
They was ignorant though.
They were ignorant. And you know, my family, oh, you know, Erica, you're beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I have tried to use, not now, because I love myself and I'm okay with myself now. But as a child, I used every type of bleaching agent I could possibly get my hand on. And look at me. It did not. Right. So, you know, again, it was about my peers, the media. And, you know, everything back then, it was light skin. You know, so maybe not in your era.
But in my area before yours, a black guy had a heavy
saying. But I know. And again, you're from, so maybe it was the different cultures. Because again, you have to remember, I'm from Pittsburgh. So.
Redneck state's a redneck state. Maryland's a redneck state.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me?
I think everybody's beautiful.
So,
but she actually is like really beautiful. So imagine if you actually weren't, and how much more difficult it might have been to like believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, still like one of the most positive messages anybody can actually have. Seriously.
But you would be amazed at how many people, how many young ladies. You know that song, Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So when I speak, I carry a mirror, a big mirror. And I make all the kids stand up. Before I start, I want to know about my babies. So everybody has to take that mirror and stare at it and tell me why they believe in themselves. A lot of them cannot do it. And it just amazes me. Now they can tell Miss Erica why they believe in themselves, but they cannot stare at themselves. So I always ask them, it's very interesting how you can sit up here and stare in my eyes and tell me why you believe in yourself, but you can't look at your own self. That's a problem, you know? So we go through it in the classrooms and youth programs, you know. But yeah, back to you. Back to you, it's social media. It's social media to me. It's the peers, it's the air. Everybody has to be beautiful. Everybody has to have long hair, you know.
And that goes nowhere. That's a dead end street.
It goes nowhere.
It's a dead end street.
It is a dead end street.
So,
absolutely.
Could you tell the listening and viewing audience how they can find the book?
It's on Amazon, it's on Barnes
as well as how can they book you for speaking engagements and or have you out to a community related event?
Absolutely. So the book is on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. If you want a signed copy, then email me at elp@believinginmyself.com. You can also contact me, and I'll leave some business cards with you guys, at 410-905-5201 if you want to book me for a speaking engagement, etc.
And the Facebook is author Erica Pullen.
Yes.
Correct.
And I'm also on Instagram, Erica L. Pullen. So.
Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
We're really proud of you.
It. Thank you so much for inviting me.
So what's next for Miss Pullen? What else you working on?
Yes. So I have a little boys book coming out by the end of summer.
Little boys?
Little boys.
You need a consultant on that?
You're hilarious. Yeah, I have, my next book is little boys' book, because little boys need encouragement as well.
You don't think I have any empathy for little boys, from which I came?
Right. And then my third book is on blended families.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So you're tackling all aspects of family life.
Come back and talk to us next time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you again, Erica Pullen. Lastly, Cortez Elliott's going to remind everyone where we are and why we're here and when to see us again.
Yeah, so you can find us on Facebook under the social media pages AMN Global, as well as Facebook/City Media. You can also catch us bi-weekly. The next show is August the 6th. We're looking for more guests and more stories to cover on this platform.
And the only time I can find myself is at Radio on Fire, Diamond K, Timothy Mercer.
Yeah, so thank you for the RadioOnFire platform for allowing us to use the space. In addition, I want to invite you guys out to a series of events that we're having this weekend at the Real News Network. You can catch us at a town hall related to housing and the climate crisis. That's from 11 to 1 p.m. moderated by Mark Steiner. As well as Monday, you can catch us at the Depot for arts and entertainment performance. And we have a series of other in-person events that you can find out more about at the AMN Global group on Facebook.
Thanks, Cortez. All right, guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
We out of here.